Hello number ones and welcome to Metatron's Academy. Today we are talking about Portuguese, one of my favorite languages, as you cannot tell due to the fact that I've got blue in the background. Why do I have blue? Both Brazil and Portugal have got green in the flag and I have blue. Oh, for crying out loud. How about that? So as I was telling you, I really like the Portuguese language. Now, do I prefer Portugal Portuguese or do I prefer Brazilian Portuguese? Well, I'm going to tell you at the very end of the video. Why? Because statistically, the majority of you do not have that level of average watch time and viewer retention. Therefore, the majority of you will not see that preference, and so I will minimize the possibility of upsetting you and mass unsubscribe. I just gave away the whole plan. Alright, first and foremost, massive thanks to Be the Nomad channel. They made a video called Brazilian Portuguese versus European Portuguese. I'm going to use this to see how different they are. And in fact, so here's the thing. I've been studying Portuguese for the better part of 15 years, so I'm actually very fluent in the language. Not true, never studied the language ever, but I am a native Italian speaker, so I should be able to understand at least a little bit. That's another thing we're going to test, in fact. How much can you understand, you muppet? Well... Alright, hit me.
Qual você acha mais bonita?
É bastante diferente. Eu acho que o brasileiro é mais sexy.
Mais fixe.
É
mais fixe.
Cara, não preciso nem responder, né? O português do Brasil, pô.
Okay, let's see how much I can understand of this beginning. I'm not reading the subtitles. I'm looking up. Let's see, let me hear her again.
Qual você acha mais bonita?
So he's asking which one is the most beautiful. I don't understand everything, but más bonita, I imagine, is most beautiful. She said,
É bastante diferente.
É bastante diferente. I think that means it's quite different because bastante sounds like bastante in Italian. It's enough different. That's how I would translate it. I'm actually having a good time. Let's go.
Eu acho que o brasileiro é mais sexy.
Mais fixe.
I don't know what the beginning means, but I think she thinks Brazilian is more sexy.
Mais fixe.
What did he say? Fish?
Eu acho que o brasileiro é mais sexy.
Mais fixe. Mais fixe.
I don't know what fish.
Responder, né? O português do Brasil, pô.
Today we're talking to people from Brazil and people from Portugal to hear about the differences between the languages in the two countries. They of course both speak Portuguese, but there are some quite big differences. So let's see what they have to say, which is the most beautiful language, can they understand each other, and which language is the most popular.
Fantastic video, love it.
All right, let's go.
Como o português brasileiro e o português de Portugal são diferentes?
Oh, I understood the whole sentence. Man, that's mad power of Romance language. How are Brazilian Portuguese and Portugal Portuguese different?
É bastante diferente. É um pouco mais cantado. O sotaque é diferente e muitas palavras também. O significado é um pouco diferente. É basicamente.
I think she said that I think she's talking about Brazilian Portuguese that is more sung, like you're singing. I agree. And then she said what? What did she say about the words? Let me hear it again.
O sotaque é diferente e muitas palavras também. O significado é um pouco diferente.
So there are many words where they're like the same, but they're slightly different in meaning.
Basicamente a mesma língua. É a mesma língua, no caso,
It's the same
né?
language.
Para mim é completamente igual, eu consigo perceber 100% o português do Brasil. Algumas palavras temos diferente, o que é engraçado às vezes quando estamos a falar, e eles pedem, normalmente os brasileiros pedem para repetir, porque quando nós falamos muito rápido eles muitas vezes não entendem. E acho que ao contrário é mais fácil, se eles falarem mais rápido pode haver algumas diferenças a nível de palavras, mas para nós é fácil de perceber.
Eu acho que...
Wow, okay, well, they are quite different. It's kind of funny because the only thing I understood from her is that she doesn't think that they are that different. At least that's what I understood. She said some words are a bit different, but she said she understands it 100%. Good for you, because I actually struggled understanding the Portuguese lady from Portugal. That is crazy because they're closer to me geographically. Like, what kind of magic is this? Man, that sounded quite different. Like, it's true, the Brazilian version is definitely more like singing, whereas the Portugal version, it sounds, is a lot of cuts, doesn't it? Fascinating. Let's go.
o português de Portugal, Ele soa bravo, meio quadrado. Ele soa tradicional demais.
Eu acho que o português do
I love the sound. Quadrado. Like, oh my gosh, I love it. Let's go. This guy. That guy looks so Portuguese, by the way. The one after this. He looks so Portuguese.
Quadrado. Ele soa tradicional demais.
Eu acho que o português do Brasil é muito mais aberto. É muito mais assim romântico, mais ir na onda, mais samba, mais sensual. Mas o português de Portugal, eu sinto que o vocabulário é mais rico, é um bocadinho mais correto, é mais poético.
Eu acho que o
So, I did understand him, I think. I'm gonna have to play him back again. Yeah, let me see. I kinda understood him. By the way, the end of what he said, I haven't got a clue. I wouldn't be able to tell you to save my life. Let me listen to the Portugal guy again.
Ele soa tradicional demais.
Eu acho que o português do Brasil é muito mais aberto.
Portuguese from Brazil, of Brazil, is more open.
Muito mais assim romântico, mais ir
It's romantic.
na onda, mais samba, mais sensual.
It's even the way he says sensual, even if he's speaking about Brazilian Portuguese, I can tell he has a Portugal accent. Man, can you tell the difference? They're so different.
Mas o português de Portugal,
Mas o português de Portugal is like, but the Portuguese of Portugal.
eu sinto que o vocabulário é mais rico, é mais
So I missed one part at the beginning, it was too fast, but then he said it's more rich,
um bocadinho mais correto,
mais correto, so more correct.
é mais poético.
It's more poetic. It's quite similar. Like both, if I really, really focus, I can get the gist of it, which is so crazy if you think about it and never study the language.
Eu acho que o português do Brasil é mais, sei lá, ele soa melhor pra mim.
Okay, so for her, it's the best one. She was saying the Brazilian Portuguese is the most, or it's more, and then she course corrected and went into it is the best one for me.
E o português de Portugal é mais, assim, mais agressivo, não sei o jeito.
She said that Portuguese from Portugal is, or at least seems more aggressive, which, yeah, I mean, I need to give her that. It is so strange, and I know that people from Portugal would get upset with this, but to be fair, Portugal Portuguese has some sounds to it that make it sound like a mixture between a Romance language with some Slavic in it. Are you getting that kind of feel? Because I do. I can still recognize the words, so it's clearly a Romance language as much as mine. But there is something to it that sometimes in the way they move in the sentence has some commonalities with Russian.
Do que, de fato, o português. Acho que é mais como se usa cada coisa.
Yeah, como se usa cada coisa. I could understand that, how you use each thing, I think that means. Yeah, I actually struggled recognizing the words here. I could pick one here and there, but it was a little harder. Let's see with her.
Acho que o brasileiro é muito mais aberto.
And she's also saying that the Brazilian Portuguese is more open.
Eu acho que em Portugal nós somos um bocadinho mais sérios, também da maneira de nós falarmos. Eu acho que dá.
Nós falamos. That's exactly what I mean. When I say they cut a lot of words, there are a lot of sh sound, and that's probably what it's giving me a little bit of a Slavic feel to it, even though it's not Slavic. You know what I mean?
Para ver, é mais um Brasil é mais. Oi, como está? E em Portugal é sempre. Oi, tudo bem?
Em Portugal é sempre. Oi, tudo bem? Definitely, yeah. It's a lot more closed, a lot more, I think, to the point.
Então acho que nós somos assim um bocadinho mais reservados, calhar.
Se o português
I did not understand that. Oh, we are more reserved, conservativo, maybe more reserved.
do Brasil, cara, é como se alguém estivesse te abraçando, cantando pra você.
Abraçando. Man, I love it. Okay, I think you got it. My favorite is Brazilian Portuguese. I'll say it now. If you get pissed, I'm sorry. But again, I'm not one of those people who says that I hate Portugal Portuguese, because I don't. I think I like it very much. In fact, I find it fascinating. But there is something about the musicality of Brazilian Portuguese that I really like. Also, the fact that they're so open with the vowels and whatnot kind of reminds me of my version of Italian, which is Sicilian. So I'm Southern, I'm more open. This is very similar. I think we kind of share that.
Eu sei que o pessoal acha que a gente sempre tá flertando, mas eu acho que é uma língua, pô, ela é cantada, ela é mais amigável.
Yeah, it's a language that is very, that you sing, I think he's saying, is very, yeah.
E é uma língua que dá para você saber que ela teve muito mais influência multicultural, enquanto o português de Portugal, ele é a mesma língua há muito tempo. Então, beleza, é o tradicional. Agora o português tem o charme, tem o balanço, é o Brasil, né? Não tem jeito.
I freaking love them. I understood a few things, like the cultural aspect of it, but it was a little difficult to understand. Here's the guy back.
É como um diamante por desenterrar, estás a ver? Porque não sei,
Like a diamond?
tem a sua beleza na sua dureza, é assim mais dura, é assim mais crocante, é mais, não sei explicar, é mais cru, tens muito mais sons, muito mais articulações, ou seja, gosto da sua frieza também um bocadinho nesse sentido.
Yeah, I understood that it's a bit like a diamond, it's harder, and then harder meaning is more, maybe harsh, we could translate it.
Acho que não consigo escolher. Adoro ouvir português do Brasil. Acho que é muito mais cantado.
Because she adores Brazilian Portuguese because it's more, again, the singing part. It is true. I mean, this is the one first thing that has non-Portuguese speakers, and then she's noticing it as a Portuguese speaker as well. That's really the one defining feature, I think, of Brazilian Portuguese in all of its varieties.
Tem outra vibe, mas o português de Portugal, opá, é o principal, é o mais antigo e não dá para escolher.
Did she say that maybe Portugal Portuguese is the main one and it's the most ancient? I believe she said that.
Brasileiro? O português do Brasil.
Quando
Yeah,
você
of course, for her, the best one is Brazilian, the Portuguese of Brazilian Portuguese.
está ouvindo o português de Portugal, como te parece?
I think he asked when you hear Portuguese from Portugal, how does that seem to you?
Um pouco engraçado, mas eu acho bonito. Tem muita gente aqui do Brasil que não acha, mas eu acho bem bonito. É um pouco charmoso, mas claro que eu amo o meu português do Brasil.
I think she did say that she still does like it, but her favorite is her own Brazilian Portuguese.
Nós usamos muito mais.
Às vezes é difícil para você entender o português de Portugal?
Sim. Às vezes, principalmente quando ela manda áudio. Quando a gente está conversando, nem tanto, porque eu presto bastante atenção. Mas se ela manda um áudio, eu tenho que escutar 2 vezes, porque aí eu tenho que ter certeza do que ela tá querendo falar.
Okay, I think he asked her if she can understand someone who speaks Portugal Portuguese, and she said yes, but I have to really focus. And maybe she spoke about an anecdote when she had to ask the person to repeat the question twice just to make sure that she understood. So I'm kind of understanding, surprisingly, in fact, considering that I don't speak it. Which one of these two? So when it comes to the sound, I like Brazilian Portuguese more. When it comes to the way they speak, it's interesting because it's kind of speaker-based in the sense that so far, like when she speaks, this lady, I understand her quite easily. And likewise, when he speaks, out of all the Portugal Portuguese speakers, he's the one I understand the most. Let me know if that's the same for you. But there was the other lady, this one here, I haven't got a clue what she's saying. So I wonder why. Maybe it's a random different choice of words, that could be. Let me see if I can understand her Portugal Portuguese. Let me see.
Sim, aliás, nós há uns anos atrás tivemos até mesmo uma mudança no vocabulário para nos adaptarmos ao português do Brasil. Eu lembro-me de estar na escola há uns anos atrás e nós tivemos que mudar para nos adaptarmos.
Maybe she said, okay, if I really focus, I think she's saying that they have the same vocabulary, but in Brazil they adapted it to Brazilian Portuguese. But there is a lot of that I haven't got a clue what it means. So I'm surprised I understood that. I don't even know how, if I'm right. Again, I'm not reading the subtitles, so you'll tell me because you're reading them. I've got my camera in front of it. I can't even read them, even if I wanted to. But yeah.
Porque lá está mais pessoas a falar português do Brasil.
O Brasil é muito maior que Portugal, por isso o conteúdo que vem de lá é muito maior também e as pessoas vão consumindo muito mais desse conteúdo e as palavras vai sendo automático.
Pelo que eu vejo.
Nothing. I understood zero from her. Let's try a Brazilian, this guy.
Eu não sei se seria o ideal. Eu tenho uma opinião muito particular de que eu gostaria de separar as duas e tratar o brasileiro, como a língua brasileira. E aí o português, se eles quiserem manter do jeito tranquilo.
Okay, I understood it. So I think I am having an easier time understanding Brazilian Portuguese because he said that he has a very particular or peculiar opinion, and that is that he likes to treat them as 2 separate languages, Brazilian Portuguese as Brazilian, and then you have Portuguese from Portugal, and then he said something that I don't know what it was.
Você pode ter essa distinção, beleza, quer focar no mercado português ou você quer focar no mercado brasileiro? Você quer falar brasileiro ou você quer falar português? Gostaria de ter que a gente tivesse nossa própria língua, sabe? Brasileiro, pô, falamos brasileiro. Oh, que coisa linda.
Yeah, and then he said, I think he said something about, and if you want to speak Brazilian, you speak Brazilian, and then if you want to speak Portuguese, Portugal Portuguese, you speak Portugal Portuguese. Then at the end he said, what a beautiful thing. Yeah, that was great. What a video. Let's see what he says at the end.
Então, muito obrigado, gente. It was interesting hearing the people say their opinions about this topic. I think for me, of course, I'm a bit biased in the fact that I lived in Brazil for a while, so I'm very much more used to the Brazilian Portuguese, so that would have to be the favorite for me. But let me know in the comments which one you prefer and which one you're trying to learn, maybe. Also, if you haven't done...
Literally, they've got Catalonia and Spain. I might check that one next time, but yeah, let's give him a like. I did not watch the whole thing precisely to encourage you to go and watch and give him a like and possibly a subscribe, but yeah, that was very nice, and that's a good way to put it, melodic. Yeah, definitely Brazilian Portuguese is 100% the melodic one, the more melodic one. I like both, but it's also the fascinating aspect of this is that as an Italian native speaker, I would have expected, I tested this a while ago, but I wanted to test it again today. And yeah, you would expect me to understand Portugal Portuguese more easily because it's in Europe. No. Brazilian Portuguese is absolutely easier for me to understand than Portugal Portuguese. Although then again, I'm still surprised of how much I understood for both. Let me know how much you understood, and I hope you liked this video. Thank you very much for watching. Obrigado.